What's up, everybody? Today we're going to discuss everything happening with Nintendo in the month of September and discussing all the rumors. Now, if these rumors are true, it's going to be an exciting month. Let's get into it, shall we? First, I want to point out the main things rumored. But also, remember, almost everything I say in this video are rumors. We don't know if it's true. Keep that in mind. But the three main things rumored for this month are Mario 40th Anniversary Direct in the first week of September. The second week of September is a general Nintendo Direct. And the third week of September is a Metroid Prime 4 Direct. If that all comes true, it's gonna be a very, very exciting month. 3 Directs, 1 month, week. I mean, if this happens, it's gonna be like one of Nintendo's most insane months. And Nintendo's been really weird recently. Like, we didn't have a July Direct, and the main Switch 2 Direct was a lot later than normal. So, Nintendo has been a little odd recently, and it's a little bit unusual to have 3 Directs this close together, but it's kind of their fault. Because Nintendo has not given us any information about Metroid Prime 4. Now, like the General Direct and Mario's 40th isn't like their fault for being where it is. But Metroid, it's a little crazy that it has had nothing, and I mean nothing about it. We barely know anything about the game. The Treehouse Showcase barely showed us anything. And Nintendo really needs to start pushing this game. Like, Metroid is not one of Nintendo's big popular franchises, or compared to some of their others. And it's really exciting that this game's coming out, but, I mean, like, it's still not as popular as some others, meaning that Nintendo needs to push this game. They need to market this game to make people get excited for it, to get the hype, and they have not been. Okay, I'm glad if this rumor is true, if we get a whole direct about the game, which is needed at this point. Nintendo could have just slowly gave us information for a while, and that would have been the right move. But no, now we have no information, and it's coming out in 2025, meaning they don't have much time left to give us the information. And because of that means they have to have an entire direct for this one game, which again isn't even that popular. A whole direct for it. Now, will it be exciting? Yes, but it's only exciting because we haven't gotten anything else about the game, which we should have. Okay, but let's dive into what we could be getting out of each of these directs. First, you have the Mario 40th Anniversary Direct. I mean, this is really exciting. And it wouldn't really be that exciting unless, if this direct happens and we don't hear about a new 3D Mario game, I mean, that would be insane. There's, no way that this direct happens and there's no 3D Mario game. Super Mario Odyssey was the last game, and that came out 8 years ago. So we really need one, and the Switch 2 is so new that this is the perfect time to give us one. We need a 3D Mario in that direct. But also, if we get a direct, there's no way they're not revealing a 3D Mario. I mean, Mario Odyssey is a great game, but we can't just keep playing that. I mean, we have for 8 years, but we're gonna need something new. And I know this kind of sounds random, but I want to mention Luigi's Mansion. It's considered in the Mario franchise. And there's a chance we could see Luigi's Mansion 4 in this direct. And no one's really talking about this. But in a way, I would really like a Luigi's Mansion 4. Have I played the others? No, but I would like a new experience to get into the franchise. I would love to play a Luigi's Mansion game. I feel like I keep holding back because, they could release a new one or at least announce a new one anytime now, and I wouldn't want to get, number 3 and then they immediately say, hey, 4's coming out. But I would think it would be really interesting if they mentioned Luigi's Mansion 4 in the rumored Mario 40th Direct. And here's another thing that's also a little random I would like to see. And also, it's not about Mario, even though it's Mario's Direct. But what about Wario? I personally am not really a Wario fan. But we haven't really had a Wario game in a really long time. And every time we do get a Wario game, they're, small and far between. So, I mean, I feel like we're due for another Wario game, but it should be a new experience. If we do get another Wario game, it needs to be something that we haven't seen Wario do before. Like, usually Wario's games are like puzzle games, but we need to see like maybe a bigger game or fleshed out game of Wario, because like some people don't even know who he is. So I know he's not Mario, neither is Luigi, but it would be nice to see a new Wario game. And like I said, I'm not that much of a Wario fan, but if they do make a game that, is different from normal Wario games, then, maybe that could get me in to Wario. But I really just don't know what they could show about Mario himself. I mean, we kind of already have a new Mario Kart, and I've already mentioned a new 3D Mario. But what else about Mario? And the only thing that comes to mind is a new Mario sports game. And I would really like to see an upgrade. Most Mario sports games recently for the Switch haven't been that good. Besides Super Mario Strikers, which everyone hates except me. I love that game, and I hear people trash on it all the time. I love Mario Strikers. Anyway, we really do need another sports game. And I think if Nintendo does another Mario sports game in this Direct, they either need to do a sports game that we haven't seen before, or tennis. And, well, here's why. If we have a sports game that we haven't seen before, like, it'll be so fresh and new, and we really just need new stuff for the Switch 2. I mean, so far, we've had good stuff, just not much of it. And I would really like to see Nintendo making just some new things. Obviously having the old, but, maybe some new things. Like a basketball one. I mean, there might already be a basketball one, but, like, if there is, we haven't got one in a really long time. So, like, some sports that we either, like, barely ever see, or never have seen, are, like, baseball, basketball, football. Those would be some good sport ideas. And then the other thing, tennis. Well, the only reason I'm saying tennis is because I like tennis and I want a new tennis game. So, that's a little bit biased there. But, like, I do think, Mario-wise, in the Direct, we need to see a sports game and a 3D Mario. Now we need to talk about what we could see for the general Nintendo Direct happening on week 2. Again, all this is rumored. Everything I say has a chance of not coming true. But it's likely. But the general Nintendo Direct is definitely the most interesting. Also, there's a chance that they might combine the Mario one with the general one. Like, they just basically slap the Mario Direct and all that content at the end of the general one. That would be fine, but that means we wouldn't get a Direct in the first week of September, and, I feel like fans, even me, are really wanting something from Nintendo, and just, that I would add on another week to wait. And I understand it's just a week, but, like I've already discussed, we've been waiting for a long time. Nintendo is so much more quieter this year than ever, which is really bad because this is the year Switch 2 comes out, their new console. This is the year where you don't want to be quiet, especially this year. But Nintendo has been quiet. So we have a lot of content built up that Nintendo could show us. And like, really, we could have anything in this direct. I don't know, but little side like thing here is I really hope we see more Elden Ring information in the Nintendo General Direct, because we don't got much. We got that small trailer in the last General one, and I personally am excited to play Elden Ring for the Switch too. But I have heard, and you might have heard this too, that it is having some issues, especially running in handheld, which is a little bit unfortunate. But there's a part of me that doesn't mind that as much. Just the excitement to get to play Elden Ring and on the Switch too would be enough, where I feel like just because it doesn't run the best, I could look past. So, yeah. Also, it said that it was coming out in 2025, but like I said, it's having issues. So if they need to push that out of 25, they so should, but I hope they mention it in the Nintendo General Direct. We also need more information on the Splatoon spin-off, which, like, could be a really big game. I don't personally think I'll end up playing it, but, like, Nintendo sure isn't saying anything about Splatoon Raiders. They tweeted about it, or posted about it somewhere, and then that's all they said. It was not in a direct at all, and I bet you at some point in the general Nintendo Direct, they're gonna mention it. But also, like, I wonder what games will come to Switch too. Like, third-party games? Especially now it has the mouse feature. And games that come to mind that I would love to see on the Switch too is The Sims 4 or World Box. World Box is like a god simulator, but it's like top-down pixeled. And The Sims 4 is like a life simulator, in case you haven't heard of those games. But I doubt you probably have. Anyway, so I really do wonder, like, what new third-party games we'll see on the Switch too. Hopefully some big ones, because, like, Nintendo was, like, starting to chug towards the end of the Switch's life cycle. And now that they have the Switch 2 that has the big power, they have some catching up to do to get to the other, big consoles, Xbox and PlayStation. Overall, I'm extremely excited for the general Nintendo Direct that is rumored. But now let's mention the Metroid Prime 4 Direct happening on the 3rd week of September. I don't know. Like, I don't really know what they're going to do with this one, but I hope they really just try and give it hype. Because like I've already mentioned, this game needs hype. No, like, very few people are excited for this game, I bet, at least. Like, a lot of people are, but not enough. Because Nintendo is treating this game like it's one of their big games, like Mario Kart World or New 3D Mario. Like, those games will just sell well the second they're, announced. But Metroid Prime 4 is not, like, Metroid is not as popular as a franchise as Nintendo is making it seem. Since Metroid is not as popular, Nintendo needs to give this game more hype, more push to get people wanting this game. And they aren't really at all. So hopefully in this Direct, it really gets people excited for this game. And I know I mentioned that they didn't show much in the Nintendo Treehouse for Metroid Prime 4, but I personally really liked the Nintendo Treehouse. And I know most people didn't like the Nintendo Treehouse for Metroid Prime 4 because they're all like, yeah, it just didn't give us that much new content. But all those people are already Metroid fans because Nintendo isn't, giving hype, meaning no one who's not already a Metroid fan is watching this, the Treehouse. Maybe besides me. Because for me, how Metroid Prime 4 is for me, is I'm really excited for the game, but the Treehouse got me excited. The reason for that is because I'm not a Metroid fan, yet at least. I was like, okay, Metroid Prime 4. I don't know anything about Metroid, but I'll give it a try, right? So I'm kind of excited for the game. I do plan to get it, but I am not already a Metroid fan. So this treehouse, in a way, got me into Metroid. And because of that, I really liked the Nintendo Treehouse for Metroid Prime 4. And I know most people did. So they basically, in Metroid Prime 4 Direct, they just need to push it. Hype, push it. I know I keep saying that. But unless they do, this game is really not going to sell well. Because they haven't already been pushing it. Like, if they just pushed, like, a little bit, like, they were, like, announced stuff, tweet stuff about the game for, like, the last 2 months, then they could have probably just thrown a small amount of Metroid Prime in the general Nintendo Direct. But now, because they haven't, now it has its own whole Direct. And, I mean, yeah, Nintendo, just push this game. Please. But speaking of that, I am quite excited for the game. I watched the trailer and the treehouse, and honestly, it reminds me of Halo. And I love Halo. So I'm really excited for Metroid Prime 4. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if these rumors are true, it's going to be an exciting month. Peace out, everybody.